Do you ever wonder where God is during hard times? Elijah wondered that. Elijah was a prophet of God who lived in the time of King Ahab. King Ahab and his wife Jezebel were the worst rulers that Israel ever had. And they despised Elijah. Jezebel brought Baal worship to its highest point in the days of Israel. And Elijah did everything he could to oppose them and to stand for God. Finally, to get Ahab's attention, God declared that there would be no rain in the land until he said so. And for 3 years, 3 long years, there was no rain. During that time, Elijah was on the run. He was hiding for his own life. And God continued to be with him and to provide for him. And then God told Elijah to come back. And Elijah confronted Ahab. Ahab and Jezebel had 450 priests who worshiped Baal and led the people to worship Baal. Baal was a storm god. Perhaps the people thought that Baal could make it rain when God would not. I wonder what we turn to, who we turn to. I wonder what false gods we have when we find ourselves in a time of need. Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal to a contest on their own mountain, Mount Carmel. 450 priests of Baal gathered on that mountain, and Elijah told them to prepare a sacrifice. And Elijah prepared a sacrifice as well. And this was the contest. The prophets of Baal would go first. They would call out to their God to bring fire. The prophets of Baal spent all morning praying to their God, crying out to their God, dancing to their God, doing everything they could think of. And their God did nothing. Elijah smirked. Elijah said, maybe your God is in deep thought. Maybe your God is busy with some tasks. Maybe your God is traveling or on vacation. Or maybe Baal is just asleep. They tried harder and harder. They danced around the altar. They did everything they could. And finally, they gave up. And they told Elijah that it was his turn. So Elijah wanted to make it a little harder for God. First, Elijah had them pour water on the altar. 3 times they doused the altar with water, making it even harder to burn. And then Elijah prayed. Elijah prayed for God to accept the sacrifice. And God sent from heaven a fire that consumed the altar, burnt up the sacrifice, and revealed to Elijah this great truth. Even in the drought, even when he was silent, even when God couldn't be seen, God was with Elijah. And God is still with us.